So with the new live action Lilo and Stitch debuting in theaters this Memorial Weekend, a lot of people are confused and about 50-50 with this whole live action thing. With the live action Lilo and Stitch, a lot of people are debating whether or not they actually like the film due to its ending. Won't say any spoilers except one word, Ohana. With the film coming out, it made over $110 million already. This movie will be one of the most successful live action Disney films that they've made. I do wish they kept some of the original parts, but you know what? It's okay. With these Disney live action films, it just goes on to the people's opinion, and majority of these live action films do consider a lot of hate but also a lot of positives when it comes to some movies like Cinderella. The reason why is because it stayed true to its original story from the 1950s, the classic film. Then when it comes to other movies that recently came out, Snow White didn't really click with the audience, including myself. I think it was one of the poorest live action adaptations that they did with this movie, especially because the first Disney movie ever was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, so it kind of hurt. And it just goes for a lot of reasons, which I explained in a previous video if you want to go check that out. Snow White did cause a lot of damage within the Disney live action, and then they did say that they were going to put a pause on live action movies. With the release of Lilo and Stitch breaking so many records already, it's safe to say that the live action ain't going anywhere. With other companies releasing their own live action versions, such as How to Train Your Dragon, and with crazy feedback, positive actually, of how accurate the How to Train Your Dragon is to the original film. There's a lot of people saying it is a good film because of how accurate the storyline is to the original film, but tweaking a little bit of stuff to make it more powerful, more impactful. Some people who love the original film and not the live action adaptation is just because they're facing backlash when they change the aspects of the original, which, you know, you can't make everybody happy. I understand. This is the problem that Disney is facing, whether or not they go with the new direction, changing a story completely different to appeal a new audience, or just keep things the same with minor tweaks maybe, instead of changing everything completely. Because when it comes to live action movies, at this point there's probably going to be more live action movies than the original movie itself. When making these live action movies, they just got to think to themselves, what is the outcome of this movie? Are we going to please majority of the audience? Because there is going to be some people who don't like the film, sadly. Going back to Snow White, for example, a movie that lost more than actually gained. This is a movie that they blatantly set out they're going to change the story of Snow White completely, facing a lot of backlash on just the movie in general, whether or not who was playing the dwarves, how was Snow White being portrayed in this character, same with the evil queen. And the result of this is just basically sad, because a lot of people do look up to Snow White as their favorite princess, and then seeing another adaptation of it really ruins the whole purpose of a character. Take the live action Aladdin movie. This is one of my favorite live action films that Disney has made, and they just nail it on the spot. They did an amazing job with the characters, the casting, especially Will Smith, who played Genie, by the way, did a great job. And also the whole storyline was just the same thing as Aladdin, just tweaked up a little bit. That's why it's one of the most highest praised movies in live action for Disney. And then when you look at other movies such as Jungle Cruise, which really was praised good by the audience, including myself, they're gonna make a sequel to this. It's just an original story based off the ride that we saw in Disneyland and Disney World. So many people are excited for these kind of live action films rather than other ones that we got in the past, staying accurate to the original story, because there is some that deserve a little bit of tweaks due to the storyline. But if there's a major change that changes the whole entire story, it's gonna be something that people don't like. People won't really like it as much as they did in the original. It could be an idea for a sequel maybe if you want to change that route, but changing something significantly that impacts the storyline is just a no-go at this point. A huge movie that did phenomenally well in the box office was The Little Mermaid, honestly, and I think it was really good by the audience, as well as people love it, especially the kids. They love the new Little Mermaid. Regardless, they could watch the original and the new adaptation, they still call her Ariel, and that's what matters. For example, you could take a poorly written script and actually make some improvements on it, even though the original is a classic. Take Beauty and the Beast, for example. They added an extra 45 minutes when the original film was about an hour 30 minutes, basically adding another 50% added to the movie. I just want to say that Disney Beauty and the Beast was the first full-length animated feature to be nominated for the Academy Awards for Best Picture. So why add 45 minutes to an already classic movie that got nominated for the Oscars? Going back to Lilo and Stitch, where the original movie was about an hour 25, the new one is actually like an hour 36, hour 45. Then leading out some key parts in this movie, such as the main villain Gantu wasn't in this movie. Also, we had the no ugly duckling scene, which kind of sad. I understand where they were trying to go for. It is a good movie for what they put out. Even though Jumbo was the main villain of this whole story, we really don't get like that happy ending we did with the original Lilo and Stitch. And that's the problem with these live action movies. Leaving out the key parts that make the entire story go along with the main message of the entire movie goes a long way. And we see that with some Disney live action films, but majority of these movies don't hit the same as the original, not just because it's live action, just because the main part of the storyline is getting taken out. So what's the point of making the movie if there's no main message, just like the original film? There's a difference between changing the story entirely and then putting your own spin on it. Add a new song, add a new character that goes along with the storyline. Having a live action movie that goes well with live action movies is what mainly matters. Every time there's a live action movie announced, a lot of people either love it or they either hate it. Honestly, I'm either way at this point. With Disney announcing that Tango is going to be a new live action film, Disney is going to be on their way to know and establish what makes a good live action film. I'm pretty sure they took in notes by How to Train Your Dragon. Till us, the fans, actually see the movie that comes out this June, there's going to be a whole new perspective that Disney could possibly take to inhabit some skills that they did from the How to Train Your Dragon live action movie to Disney's new way of incorporating these live action movies to us without really getting that much backlash. Then it just leads to a point where is Disney in a no-win situation with the new stuff they keep announcing, such as the live action Moana film, which a lot of people don't believe this movie should be even made because we just got Moana 2 in 2024. It hasn't even been 10 years since the first Moana film came out. Is this something that we really need by Disney to incorporate a live action film when not even a year ago, if this movie releases in the summer, they just released a sequel to an animated film? It's just even crazy to say, because definitely Stitch live action is going to get a sequel. We know that for sure. And I don't mind it. I'm excited to see where they would go with this because Lilo and Stitch 2 is called Stitch Has a Glitch. So I hope they incorporate that. And just my opinion overall, I don't mind the live action movies. I think they're a great adaptation of it in some ways. Some people refuse not to see the live action movies due to the original just being the classic, just to stay the way it is, and that's perfectly fine. The only reason why I'm saying this is because this new live action Lilo and Stitch came out, raises a lot of questions to the future of live action movies. And with everyone's reaction based off this, it seems like it could go on to more movies and maybe get more of a grasp of what people actually feel like. Sticking to most of the storyline, not changing the key outcomes, could result into a great live action movie, which makes the fans would want more. With new strategies coming up every day with these Disney live action movies, we get to see more and more ideas of where their heads at. It may raise some questions with the fans to see what is Disney doing, but honestly, when it comes to the big screen, that's where the people's opinion matters. These fans that love these classic movies go into, and honestly, it's just the future of where these live action movies hold up. Are we gonna get more? Possibly. Are we gonna be excited for it? Possibly. It just depends on the whole storyline. If they stick to the original script with the little tweaks, I think we'll be okay. But now it's your turn to let me know in the comments below. Are you excited for the future of live action movies? Do you think Disney should stop making live action movies? This is a big deal because a lot of fans do like the live action movies, and then you see another side which don't like these live action movies. If you have another thought of what is the problem with the Disney live action movies nowadays, let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like and subscribe, put on those post notifications, join the Blockbuster family. We are so close to 5,000 subscribers. I think we're 12 away. We could hit it. Got some big things coming up in the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned for that. Once again, thank you for liking this video. I hope you're having a good one, and don't forget to take care.